Hello. Hello, hello, hello. I believe we are working. Let me just make sure I can see chat. Move that out of the way. A very slight wibble on the camera. I'm not sure what that's about today. Not supposed to be doing that. Stop it. Stop. Let's turn this light off. We don't need this one on as well. Oh, maybe we do actually. Everything's working. Marvelous. Thank you, Mika. Hello. Hello, Jane. Hello, Mika. Tyler. John. Hello, hello, hello. I don't know why this keeps wobbling about because it's supposed to be stuck. It's supposed to be not moving. Hey, Rich. How's everybody doing today? Bit chilly here. It's been raining for like 312 days, it feels like. Ever since it stopped snowing, it's been raining. So that's fun. It's a bit chilly, I must admit. Might have to put my jacket on later. Hey, Pam. So, hey, Susan. Top of the show, bits and pieces. As I said at the beginning of last week's show, I talked about memberships opening in April. They are actually already open if you want to, sign up for the lowest tier and make sure that your payments work or whatever, because they can be a bit of finicky. But content will not be going out until April 3rd, to be exact. We're doing Mondays. There's going to be an open studio similar to this, but not quite the same. The idea is instead of me doing the work and you sitting watching, you come along and work with me. It's like you come into my virtual studio and you sit with me and we have a painting session or whatever it is you want to work on. So if you're interested in that, check out the members section. If you hit the join button, it will tell you what all the memberships are and what you can get. If you are a patron and you would prefer to purchase the first 2 months as a mini class in advance, you can do that too. Check out my coffee shop. Links are all down below. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good chunk of time on a Monday to sit down and start the week with a bang and prep stuff and get stuff started ready for the rest of the week. So yes, this is what we like. So yeah, that's happening. Next week, I'm on an admin week. However, we're still going to have a video. We're not going to have a live stream. We're going to have a video. I have received, those of you who are familiar with my friend Kirsten, Wicked Redhead on Instagram, I have received a promo version of her Oracle deck. There's her, there you go, Wicked with 2 Ds _redhead. I've received a promo version of her new Cottagecore Oracle, which is coming to Kickstarter on April 1st, I believe. Yeah. So I'm going to do a proper reveal of this, give you my thoughts and all that, do a proper unboxing. It's still sealed. Look, I haven't opened it or anything yet. I'm going to do it live on camera. When I say live, I mean I'm going to record it live and it'll go up next week instead of having a live stream. And I'm hoping, well, I'm not hoping, I've already arranged, I've already arranged for Kirsten to come and do a little mini interview with me. She's going to tell us a little bit more about the inspiration behind this deck and tell us about the Kickstarter and stuff like that. So it'll be fun. Keep your eyes out for that next week. Today, what am I doing today? Just painting. Painting is what I'm doing today. Painting. We're painting. Sorry, just catching up on chat. Everyone's just saying hi. Hey, Katie. So I've been working in this sketchbook. Because I work in other sketchbooks, I struggle to finish a sketchbook in a timely manner. So halfway through February, I thought, hey, what if I try and finish this sketchbook in like 3 months, which is it's a thing that Lil Star Nerd does on her YouTube. Really good portrait gouache painter, if you want to go and check her out. She has one of these types of sketchbooks. She actually used the Strathmore mixed media. This is the Stillman and Burn Alpha. But same concept, 60 pages, 8x10. She fills one of these in 3 months and she struggles to do it every time, but she's confident that she should be able to do it. 20 pages in a month doesn't sound like a lot, but I've got about 15 different sketchbooks. So actually filling one sketchbook, I struggle. As an example, I just finished this one the other day. This is, I started this in December 2020, then I stopped using it and I started it again in March 2022. I've just finished it in March 2023. I should probably write that on here actually so that I know. But yeah, I've literally just finished this. It's taken me a year. So I feel like I couldn't finish one of these in 3 months, she says. These are the little, well, not this one. This is my bookmark, but these little flags are where I, like, that's 1 month's worth. That's 2 months worth. That's 3 months worth. As you can see, I'm barreling along. I've done about 4 pages. But I'm determined. I've still got till the end of April to finish this sketchbook. And I figure, does it really matter if I'm not a third of the way through the sketchbook? If I finish the sketchbook by, well, I started mid-February. I decided this was a thing. So mid-March, mid-April, technically mid-May, but I'd like to finish it by the end of April. Who knows? Maybe I will. Maybe I will. I mean, it's highly unlikely, but there's no harm in having a goal and trying, right? So I've done a welcome page. I haven't come back to this page yet because it was going to be part of this, but I actually like this as he is. I don't want to do anything else to him. So I'll have to come back and fill in this page later. These are still a work in progress. I worked a bit more on this one the other day, but these need colour pencil and I'm not in a colour pencil mood at the moment. So I'll come back to these when I am in a coloured pencil mood. There's these 2 of Maddie that I did. I just like the sketch so much. I reproduced it 3 times and did 3 different versions. I've got these crazy birds, my shoebill storks. This is not finished yet. I am going to finish it. But again, I like things in different states of finished. I'm not one of those people who sits down and finishes a sketchbook page in one go. That said, I did actually finish this one last week. Not in one go. I sat down the next day and did it. And I'm really happy with this one. I'm happy with how it came out. Are these flowers, leaf things the best thing I've ever done? No. Do they fill the space and draw attention to the elephants? Yes. So not the greatest page in the world, but I really like how it came out eventually. So we're good with that. This week I've been drawing stuff with the intention of having things to colour later. So I've got some, this is actually from a list. I found it on, it's actually a type list that I found, but it's called 100 drawing prompt ideas to fill your sketchbook. And I've already done Rose. I've done 2 roses actually. Peony, pizza slices in my other book, favorite art supply, and avocado. So that's been quite interesting to just, you know, find a reference for anything on this list and go off and do it. I'm really into, hey, don't tell me you want to go out right now. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She wants to go out. I will be back momentarily. Talk amongst yourselves. Pain in the butt. Dog needs to go for a wee. Sorry about that. Whoops. Hang on. I'll be back. You couldn't have done this like 15 minutes ago, Miss Maddie. Huh? Come on. Hurry up. Good girl. Settle down now. We're back. Oh. Oh. Whoops. Stop wobbling about, camera. Really annoying. Where was I? Ugh, moving. I hate moving. Moving is not fun. Anyway, where was I up to? I don't know. Been sketching and stuff. What I'm really into at the moment is painting. And I found this picture, which if you follow me on what's it called? Pinterest. There we go. Oh my God. If you follow me on Pinterest, it's in my fluffies folder. It is a photo by Philip Bulkley. There's his name. And if you look for him on Instagram, his name is Philip Bulkley Photography. As far as I can tell, he normally does like action water sports type photography, but this is a beautiful capture. And I just want to use the composition of it. Hi, Miss Maddie. Hello, Snorty. How you doing? Oh, you got a hair in your eye. I'll get it for you. There you go. Hi. Can you hear her purring? Hi, baby. You purring? Hi. That's what she does when I rub her head. There, the snoot has said hello. Yeah, I just like the composition of the owl in the tree. So I thought we might try and recreate that feeling. I will probably have to use the reference for the owl itself because although the colors are very simple, I'm not very familiar with the shape of owls. So, but other than that, you know, I'm not looking to totally recreate this photo. I'm just using it as a composition reference, and we'll see how it goes. I will, of course, Zombie Crew, those who can't watch live. I know I'm funny. I will put all the links down below, of course, and I will also link to Phil Buckley's Instagram. Let's see what we can do with this. I really like the way the tree is wrapping around the owl. Let's see what we can manage. So for ease, I'm going to download it from Pinterest because it's just easier to view it without all the extras on the page. I'm going to have to turn the brightness up on my phone because I can't see. Oh, there we go. That's better. Top tip, if you don't have your phone brightness down to nothing, then you can actually see what's going on. So we've got some tree roots wrapping around and this little teardrop shape. This is what I'm interested in, the light in this teardrop shape compared to all the dark. And then it's kind of sandwiched with this foreground of light. So there's like the foreground of light, there's the tree, which is dark, and then behind that, there's all this light with the owl. That's what I'm interested in, that composition. So I'm going to put that over there. Now, this is actually the wrong shape. That photo is actually an A4 dimension photo, which means it's going to be sort of squished like that. So do I want to do it in here or shall I do it in my A4 moleskin? I mean, I'm trying to finish this sketchbook. I'm trying to use this sketchbook, but since I'm usually at work in the zombie, so I'm in the zombie crew, does that mean today I'm Frankenstein's monster? Yes, it lives. It lives. Oh, I like it. I like it. Maddie, hi, your snoot's back. Can you go and lie down, baby? Or go and snuggle with your penguin. or something. Yeah? Go snuggle with your penguin. Go have a nap. Go have a sleep. Whatever you want to do, my love. You're a good girl. Frankenstein's monsters. Yes, I like it. Okay. No, I'm going to do it in this book. And you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it that way. Oh, that's going to be a pain, because you won't be able to see what I'm doing. Oh, page is too big, isn't it? Hi, Snoot. Right, watch this. Watch this. Watch what she does. Here's the Snoot. Oh, you're not going to do it now? Calling me a liar, are you? That's when she purrs, usually. It's when I rub her head, she purrs. I are not a performing monkey, she says. I not do it for the camera. Mwah. You're a good girl. She wants belly rubs from Mika. There we go. Belly rubs from Mika. My girl. All of this used to be black. Her entire face used to be black, and it's not black anymore. She's frosty. You gotta stop getting old, my love. Yeah. Gotta stop getting old. There you go. I'm going to get down now. You can sit there if you want to. It picked up on the mic last time. Yeah, it's not picking up this time, I don't think. But she literally purrs like a cat. But she grew up with cats, so not entirely surprised. Okay, I'm just going to do it on this page, I think. And I'm not going to be too finicky about any of it. There's where the owl is going to go. That's the teardrop. So this is the tree. Comes around here. There's some gnarly roots here. There's not sure what that is, but we'll draw it in. We've got a big bit of trunk coming down here. This has got a big thing here. It's actually a very simple, big shadow in here. This is twisting around. I think what I'm going to do is anywhere that the page is too big, I'm just going to fill it in with greenery, because that's what I'm interested in, the contrast between the greenery and the background. So there's the tree roots coming up here. And then we've got a big thing of greenery here. I can fill this in with some ivy or something. Miss Maddie, what are you doing? Oh, there's a split in the bark there. That'll be really interesting to put in. We've got roots growing over each other here. We've got all sorts of weird stuff going on in here. We've got tufty bits of grass. And then we've got the owl. So I'll worry about putting the owl in later. We've got some greenery coming down here. I'm going to make it a bit bigger so it covers that corner. We've got some greenery coming up here, but it's because of the camera, it's very fuzzy greenery. So it needs to cover that bit as well. So let's just make this greenery matte and go all the way across like that. That'll do. There we go. Then we've got greenery coming across here. We need to hide this corner. So let's have greenery coming like that. And then everything else can be the tree. Yeah, that'll do. So I want to paint this because I'm really into these Holbein gouache at the moment. Well, I'm into gouache at the moment anyway. I've got regular Winsor & Newton gouache, which I love. Mostly because you can use them like watercolors as well as just on their own. But these acrylic gouache, me likey. Maddie, stop. Stop now. Come on. Don't scratch me. You've just been out. You can't want to go out again. She does want to go out again. Are you kidding me? Do you want me to leave the door open for you for a minute? Sorry, guys. I'm going to open the door again for her, but I'll leave it open for her this time. Come on. Silly moo. Come on. There. Oh. I'll have to go back out and close the door in a minute, but at least you're not waiting for me to come back again. Molly used to climb on the back of the sofas because she saw the cats doing it. Yes, Scooby did that. Scooby used to like sitting up here. And then he'd gradually slide down between my back and the chair until I was sat on the edge of the chair. And he then owned the chair. Okay, so let's play. I'm gonna have to mix some colors for some of this, I think, but that's okay. I like playing with these. I found that these brushes work really well. These are the cheap, I think it's a 6-pack of Princeton Art and Brush Co. Heritage. You get a 6-pack of them or something. I think it was a 6-pack. I've got 5 of them, and I think there was a fan brush in as well, which I don't use. I give that to my mum. Yeah, they come in lots of different things, and they've got white Taklon bristles. These are really good for gouache. They've got just enough oomph to them, if you know what I mean. Just enough oomph to make them work with gouache really well. I may use some of these as well. I've enjoyed mixing the 2 types of gouache together. I also have all of my Shesko paints down here, which are the paper artsy Shesko finish. These are matte chalk finish acrylics, and they work very much like acrylic gouache. Very much. They dry a bit faster, but the acrylic gouache dries quite fast anyway. But yeah, you can make a pretty decent. I might want that one actually, because that's quite a good dark tree color. Although I don't know, maybe I'll stick to more the gouache, but if I do need them, I've got some extra colors down here that I can use. So let's try doing it just in these and see where we get. What I want to do first is put in where the dark shadows are going to be. Now, I've seen a lot of people use Prussian blue for this, so I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to do a wash, but I'm going to do it wet in wet. So where is the shadow bits? The shadows are in here. I'm going to paint over where the greenery is, but I'll put the greenery back in later. So this is all dark in here. All down here. This is dark green, so I'll put the shadows in there as well. This is shaded. This has got shade. This is shaded down here. Okay. Let's see how we get on. I'm going to water some of this down. Do you want me to move it over so you can see the palette? Sometimes people like to see the palette. I'm just using an acrylic block. I don't even know where I got this from. But it's quite good for this because, as you can see, I don't have my scraping credit card with me, but you can just scrape it off really easily. You can scrape it off with your thumbnail, in fact. Oh, I'm going to have to flip this page down. Let's do that. This alpha paper is really good for mixed media. It's definitely comparable to the Stillman and Burn, not the Stillman and Burn, the Strathmore mixed media. But it does have a tendency to buckle if you put too much water on it. It flattens out, but you know, if you're doing washes and things initially, it will do strange things. Where are all my other clips? Hello? I have like 8. Oh, they're sat here right in front of me. There we go. That's why I couldn't see them. Okay, that'll do. Right, let's put some blue. I'm just going to do lots of water and a big brush. So this is all, ooh. That's actually working like watercolor, which is crazy to me for acrylic. Sorry, the camera has decided it wants to be crazy. And if the camera's decided it wants to be crazy, there's not much I can do about it. Yeah, a nice sharp contour, because that's where the light is coming in. So I'm actually tempted to put the blue on the whole foreground, but I'll hold off from that for just for now. This is also quite well defined in terms of light and shadow, so let's get a nice sharp edge there. Okay, I need the dark down here as well. Okay, I'm going for the whole foreground. Let's just go for the whole foreground. Get kind of an underpainting thing going. We can paint the light bits over the top, and then we got some depth in the leaves. I'm not going to put it on this bit because that bit is actually catching the light. Okay, and now I want to add some green to it. I want that bluey green. Because it is a very greenish blue colour. A bit too green. I want to desaturate it a little bit. Actually, let's put a bit white into it. Tone it down a bit that way. There we go. That's more like what I'm looking for. And because this is still wet, it should blend into it quite nicely as well. So now I'm going to go back in and do my original shadows. In this kind of bluey green. Nope, a little bit more blue. Much more blue. It's too sea-like. That's better. Actually, I like it unmixed like that. I'm going to go in with, yeah, there we go. That's what I'm after. So we've got this notch coming down here. This area's in shadow. That's where that split is. A nice contour around here. We've got some areas that are darker and others are areas that are lighter. Maddie, what we barking at, baby? Maddie. Big log there is catching the light. Dark area in there. And then this is kind of fading out. Okay. Updating your game to be ready for a raid. Come see you in the zombie crew. Okay, now I'm going to use this as a base and I'm going to add in some brown. We need some brown, but we need some dark brown, and I don't think this burnt sienna is going to cut it quite. Yeah, it's a little bit too brown. I'm going to put in some more white. Yeah, I want a little bit more of that blue to saturate it a little bit more. There we go. I'm gonna keep it streaky so that we get the feel of the trunk of the tree, because the trunk of the tree is actually is coming in quite what's the word I'm looking for? Like striations, but that's not what I'm trying to say. You can see the lines of the trunk are. They're following the curve of the tree. So I want to use the brush strokes to get that in there. This is a lot lighter, so I'll leave some of the blue showing. By the way, for anyone who's watching this thinking, oh, is this a tutorial? No, it's not a tutorial. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, okay? This is not a tutorial. I mean, if you learn something about what to do or what not to do, then I guess it's become a bit of a tutorial, like a mini tutorial within the session, but that's not what this is meant to be. I don't actually know what I'm doing. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. So if you want to avoid making those mistakes, or you want to create the same effect, then you will be able to do it. Okay. The colors are not showing up on camera very well. It looks a lot better in person. Okay. But you know, we'll keep going. We'll keep going. I think I could do with a bit more white for this side, because that's more green. So let's add a bit more white into this side, because this bit is where it's catching the light. And again, I'm not mixing it all that well because I want to have the streaks from the paint on the brush. I do need a little bit more water. This is coming up here. Nice crisp edge on this, because this is where the light is catching the tree as it comes down here. And then it gradually fades down into that slightly bluish shadow. So then we can bring some more of this darker colour in up here. And that goes into really dark there. Now, I don't have dark acrylic, so as suspected, I'm going to have to, I mean, I could just add black to it, but black tends to just throttle everything. If I had a Payne's grey, that would be good, but I don't. So I'm just going to use some regular acrylic. This is the, well, it's not regular acrylic, it's the Fresco acrylic in squid ink, which will give me this nice dark mauvey brown corner that I'm looking for over here. I'm just going to blend the two in together. And see, there's very little difference between how they work, except the acrylic, the proper acrylic, is a little bit harder to wash. The gouache is really easy to turn into a wash. The acrylic, it dries fast. You've got to keep it wet to be able to get it to work. But now we've got kind of the light and the dark. And now that's dark enough to add a little bit of blue back into it while it's still wet, because this will wash over the top and blend with the acrylic. Does that make any sense? I don't know, but you can see, there we go. A little bit of water on your brush, a little bit of dark blue paint, wet acrylic, wet Fresco paints, and you can blend the dark back in to get that nice dark corner. It's a communal art adventure. It is, yes. You're here for the ride, not for the teachings, okay? You're just here for the ride. It's soothing, says Katie. Katie's soothed by it. Well, I'm glad about that. Okay, now what I want is a similar colour, but a greenish tint, and I don't think I have one. I do have a translucent opaque blue that might work. Let's pull that out just in case. Maybe if, oh, hang on, maybe if I use this with the Viridian green, that might work. Let's try that. So let's put this up here. Again, putting it in the area where we want the darker colour to be. So this is this part of the thing turning that way. And then let's add Viridian green to it instead of the blue. Let's see where that takes us. Beauty of this acrylic and gouache is that you can just paint over it if it doesn't work. Okay, that's actually not far off the colour I was aiming for. Weirdly. I'm kind of surprised by that. I think I went a little too green, but that's okay. I can pop a little bit of, I'll do the same with the acrylic, just a little bit of acrylic just to desaturate that area a little bit. And then we'll blend it into this side. Yeah, that works. Okay. I know it looks like a hot mess right now. I know. Don't worry. We're going to get there. It'll be fine, I promise. I could actually use a bit of, could have used a bit of kitchen towel actually to clean my palette. Oh, let's put some of that on. Oh, yes. There's the light bit we were looking for. Oh, yeah. There we go. So that comes around here like that. Oh, there we go. Cool. And there's a bit of that here too. So let's grab all those colours and put that in here as well. Along this bit. Could have done with a bit more green. Is that still wet? No. There we go. All righty. Let's use the inside of my cloth. I've got to wash my cloth anyway at some point. There. In case I need to put some more colours down on the palette. Okay. I think I need a bit of a purplish hue in this area as well. This Prussian blue in this colour is actually quite a warm colour. It's not quite the dark blue I was hoping for. Hang on a minute, I've got another. That could work. This is another Fresco paint. This could be the colour I'm looking for to go over there. Yes, this nice dark purpley colour. Squid ink. It's one of my favourite colours. And it's just got this kind of warm, but not, well, can you be not warm, but not warm? It's a purpley kind of desaturating purple, which you can't see at the moment because of all the glare, but you know, it's either we have lights and you can see what I'm doing, or we don't have lights and you can't see anything. Yeah. Pick a there you go. See how that's just desaturated that blue a little bit. And again, I'm doing it like an acrylic wash. Well, it's called glazing technically, but I think if you're putting it over gouache, you can get away with calling it a wash. A wash of gouache. We've got a section here where this comes down and there's a bow in front that goes back up there. So I'm going to chisel that bit out. And this is actually really dark. Let me put this dark corner in with this acrylic paint. Nice crisp edge. She says painting over the nice crisp edge, but it's acrylic. Doesn't matter. Okay. Now we've got this part of the tree comes down and around here. So that's curving around. Like that. And then we've got this chunk of tree. This is very dark in here. But then we've got this big chunk of tree coming up. And it's very dark underneath there as well. Lots of bits of all sorts of stuff going on over here. Some darker bits, some lighter bits. Excuse me. Maddie, you don't have to bark just because everybody else is. Okay, and then we've got this bit coming down here. There's the tree trunk. We've got that nice crisp line there. And then it drops off into that corner, which we're probably going to cover most of it with green anyway. So we just need some darker colours behind. And let's add some more of this down here as well, darken up this corner. There we go. Might as well put some up here where this ivy is going to go across, because that's also part of the tree. And then we've got big green stuff over here anyway, so might as well. The green and the purple will make a nice contrast. And you can still see the blue underneath it because I've glazed it or washed it, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. I don't. To me, if you're adding glazing medium, then you're glazing it. If you're adding water, then you're adding a wash. That's what I'm using water. I'm not using a glazing medium. I'm just throwing water all over the place. Okay, I need to let that dry a minute. So how are we doing? So let's review. This is our reference photo. So hopefully you can see a bit of what I'm trying to achieve here. This here is that crack. So that's going to be lighter browns in there because you can actually see, it's hard to see on here, but you can actually see the inside of the tree where it's split. So it's kind of wood coloured. And we've got this catching the light here. I should have done this colour, but that's okay. We can add that back in later. We've got this bit coming down, catching the light. We've got these shadows and beams and roots coming in here. We need to add some green into this foreground and some green up into here. I think I'll put some ivy in here in this corner because it's actually like a knot in the tree, but that's going to be far too difficult to paint. I'm just going to put ivy there. It's easier. But all of this is to make that pop, to keep that contrast there, because that very top corner, it's almost white. It's not quite white, but it's almost white. So by leaving this bit of the paper white, I can keep that contrast. I haven't quite got all the contrast I need just yet, but I'm liking these dark, kind of misty, bluey, greeny, strange colours. This is inspired by, now what's her name? I can never remember her name. She does these amazing floral things. Lucky Melon on Instagram. Look at the way she uses, look at the way she uses that very dark blue against the bright green. That's what I'm inspired by, those colours. So she does this very light layered wash of gouache, that's not easy to say, at the background, wet in wet, and then she lets it dry and she comes back over the top with thicker gouache and lighter colours. And that's where I'm taking my inspiration from. So that's for the colour palette. That's Lucky Melon. Fantastic artist. Go check her out. She doesn't always do loose sketchbooky stuff like this. I like her loose sketchbook stuff. But she doesn't do it very often, unfortunately. But I've been coming back to that picture over and over and over again and thinking, I want to create that dark blue, misty contrast with the bright greens in the front. Let's have some coffee. I'm liking the colours. Fortunately, it dries really fast. So even though when I'm putting the colours down, you can't really see it. Once it dries, you can see exactly what I've done, and it makes a lot of difference. And because it's matte, it's not really catching the light either, which is cool. I do need to put in some more of this light brown where it's catching the light. Just got to try and remember what I mixed for that. I think I did burnt sienna with a bit of white. And a bit of blue to desaturate it, if I remember correctly. Thank you, Katie. There's Lucky Melon's Instagram link in chat if you want to go and check her out. Does some incredibly beautiful, realistic, not exactly landscapes, more kind of gardenscapes, I guess you'd call it, close-ups of flowers and things like that and trees and stuff. She was very nature oriented. But she also does this lovely loose wet in wet sketchbook stuff, and she only uses gouache. Occasionally she uses ink as well, like an ink pen. Yeah, she actually has a reel of her creating that picture, which is really useful because you can see how she lays down the wash, and then she puts the colours in, and how she puts the colours in, and then how the colours look completely different when she's just put them in to how they look when they're dry and she's painting over them. Because that's a big thing with gouache, and also with acrylic, actually, it changes colour. It does it a lot. It changes colour. Gouache much more so, although not as much in the acrylic gouache. Regular gouache, light colours dry dark and darker, and dark colours dry lighter. But that's where you get this misty blue from. This paper is absolutely soaking. It's very, very wet at the moment. I need to just let it dry a little bit. Actually, I could probably see how wet it is. I could probably just flap it around a little bit, let it dry off a bit. I don't have my hairdryer over here, or I'd grab it. So what's everybody up to while we're watching? And for my gamer dudes, who's going to be doing the Diablo 4 beta, open beta next week? Is it next week or this weekend, isn't it? 24th to the 26th. Yeah, Friday and Saturday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week. I'm tempted. I'm tempted because it's my admin week and it's my weekend off before my admin week. So I'm thinking maybe I can just afford to squeeze in a day of gaming there and go and play Diablo 4. It might happen. I'm a huge Diablo nerd. I'm sorry. I love Diablo. I'm still playing Diablo 2 on the Switch. Sorry. Video editing. Cool. Is this for a new music video or YouTube? Oh, an entire performance to edit down. Oh, crikey. And a vlog from, oh, yes, Katie was at the, what is it, Scotty Con, was it? Is that what it's called? She did her first live performance at a con. So, yeah, Katie has a YouTube channel. Go check it out. She's apparently doing a vlog about her experience. That'd be cool. Slogging through uni reading, 3,000 words due next Thursday. 3,000 reading, that's not bad. Or do you mean you've got to write an essay of 3,000 words and that's why you're doing the reading? ScottyCon. Yeah, I thought it was. This is actually also looking a little bit like a sea cave. I can imagine water across there, like, or sand or rocks or something, and like looking out onto the shore from a cave. It's kind of cool. I love this color scheme. Okay, we're a bit drier now, so let's start going in with our what are we on? Layer 3, I think. So this time we're going to be using a smaller brush and thicker paint. And because, whoops. Because I want to get some more detail in this, not too much, but some detail. Oh, 3,000 word essay. So you're reading for the essay. Ugh. Ew. You see a weird plague doctor mask. I mean, if these are the eyes and this is the nose, then weird kind of skull sort of with a tube gas mask type thing I can get. That's really creepy. I like it. Okay. So let's try recreating this light brown. I'm pretty sure I did burnt sienna and white. I've only got titanium white, so I'm having to use that for mixing white, but that's fine. You just add a bit of extra water. And And I think I added a bit of Prussian blue to desaturate it. So I'm adding less water in this layer. That's a bit too much blue. Close, a little bit more white. Too much blue, not enough white. There we go. That's what we wanted. Something along those lines. I'm going back over this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So we've got some, this bit in here of log that's catching the light. And there's a bit of root going up over there. I'm not adding a lot of water this time, just so I'm literally just dipping the edge of my brush in the water and mixing it into the paint just to keep the paint viable. Okay, we've got this interesting branch coming up here. Up into this corner. We've got a big old gnarly branch coming down there. Up into that corner. That bit's a branch we can see here. I'm saying branch, it's root. It's root, okay? I keep saying branch, it's root. I've got bits of roots. And actually there's twigs on the ground there as well. So those are branches. And we got this. Going up here. To get the lines on the branch, on the trunk, my tree anatomy is all over the place today. I'm using a flat brush. It's a very thin flat brush, and I'm using sometimes that side, and sometimes I'm turning it as I move so that I get different widths of lines. Loggy brush. A bit more white. There's a very, very light bit right here where it's really catching the light. Another bit right here. And there's this bit here. Okay. And then I want to throw some contrast in there. So I'm going to use the last of this bit of white. And add the very highlights in there. While it's still wet. That way the brown and the white will kind of mix together a little bit. And it won't be like a really stark highlight. It'll be kind of a light brown. Okay. Got a couple of bits up here that are catching that light as well. So let's just add those in. I don't want it to look too light. So by putting the lightest part on here first and kind of smudging it across the background, I can then paint over it with darker colours and you'll just get peaks of the white instead of big sections of it. So let's get some more of that brown. Desaturate a bit. We got these roots down here that are kind of catching the light. Well, they're not really catching the light, they're kind of in reflected light almost. There we go. See, it's starting to come together. Starting to come together. Let's get some definition up in this area. So we can see that that's a root. And then this is a root. Oh, too light, a bit darker. There we go, because that's not actually catching the light. So I've just put a little bit too much blue in there now so that I can get the darker side of that. And this bit, I'm going to use this dry brush kind of thing to just blend in that dark section there. You can't see any detail in this dark area, but I'm going to put some in anyway because I can. Dry brushing is a good way to blend out edges if you've got harsh bits that you don't want to be able to see. I'm going to use the dry brush for this bit across here. It's not a root, but it's kind of like a bit where the underground root is poking through the earth. Sorry, that weird noise is my bracelet banging against the table. I keep meaning to swap this big chunky bracelet for a chain. I keep forgetting. But it actually does appear to help with my arthritis in my fingers. So I'm going to keep wearing it. Like the mouth of the skull in Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, yes, it kind of does, doesn't it? I could, even now, I could turn this into a cave. Even now, I could still turn this into a cave. It's kind of strange how that's happening, but I'm just cleaning my brush. I'm not actually doing anything here. I'm just cleaning my brush in an area that it works. Okay. Now, I want a little bit more yellowy for this bit, so I'm going to add a yellow ochre to this base, but I don't know how much yellow I'm going to need because yellow ochre is a very strong colour. So I'm going to add it to this first. I'm going to need a bit more water. because it's drying quick on the palette. Not to water it down, just to keep it viable. Okay, so let's add a bit more yellow. That's a little bit too much, so now we'll add some blue, which will make it slightly greener. And we'll add a bit more white. Oh, I've got white still. Okay, add a little bit of white. There we go, that's what I wanted. Maybe a little bit more yellow in it. There we go. Okay, I think that'll work as a inside of a tree trunk base color. So that split is there. Cool. I'm going to use this color anywhere else. I mean, there's a bit of kind of yellowy green going on down here, so I could, I mean, this is going to be mostly green in here, but I could potentially put some of this down here to help the green pop. It's almost like mossy bits grown, you know, like when roots don't quite come up through the surface, but they're under the surface and moss grows across the top of them. That's kind of the effect that I'm going for in this corner. That's what I see in the picture. So I feel like putting down this yellowy green gives us kind of a moss base that we can add little bits to later. Hey, Moonbeam. Maddie is not inside at the moment. Maddie is still out in the garden. Oh, speak of the devil. Here she is. Hi, Snoot. Can I shut the door now? Because it's kind of cold. It's kind of chilly, my love. You done? Is that right? You're done now? Do you want to come up and say hello again? No? No, she just wants a belly rub. I'll go and shut the door in a sec. Because I'm almost out of coffee anyway, so. Right. I feel like I can start putting in some of this greenery in the foreground. Since I've got the yellow out, I might as well. I'm going to need some bright green. I'm going to need some medium green. We might need some more of the Viridian green, but we'll come to that later. We'll come back to that later. So let's do the basic area in some slightly watered down medium green with a touch of yellow. So this is really just to map out the area of really bright green. So we've got mostly here. And all over this corner. And because I'm doing it as a wash, I'm still getting the dark variations underneath, which you'll be able to see when it dries. I feel like I want it to come down a bit further, actually. I want it to point to the owl. The owl is going to be here. I kind of want it to really focus your attention on the owl. I mean, the whole composition does that anyway, because you do that and there's the owl. But I really want that to stand out. Right, I'm going to add a little bit of blue to this. Oh, that might have been a bit too much. Nope, just the right amount to get this area of green that is in here which I don't need to be precise about because I've already laid down that yellow green, you see. I think there was method in my madness. I need some more darker green over this side, and I'm going to dry brush it because that is the texture on the tree. Let's add some yellow into that as well, do a bit more. Go. Oh, I just spotted another area where there's hopefully this is still, oh yeah, it's still wet. There we go. I'll gather up some more of this. Just spotted another crack. That needs some white. It's not opaque enough. It was split in the bark. Came down too far. That's okay. Got some more of this on here. I am aware that I could have painted this without all these layers, by the way. I do know that. The whole point of gouache and acrylic is that you can actually just paint opaque layers straight off. But I mean, where's the fun in that? That's not how I paint. I like to use a lot of layers and textures and stuff like that. So that's where we're heading with it. We're doing lots of stuff to it. So what we're going for here is that slightly dappled, crackled kind of crazy paving like texture of the bark on this part of the tree. So that bit there is what I'm trying to achieve. I think we're getting there, right? Colors are there. I need to turn this up a little bit for you to see it properly. So there we go. That's what I'm trying to achieve, that texture. See? Method, madness. It is there. So with this, I need to add more white to it now. Hopefully this white is still workable. Just add a little bit of white. Don't want it to be too light. And then we're going to do this corner. Oh, that's not white enough. There we go. Maybe a touch of this. There we go. That I like. And then we can get, so we've got, there we go, that's better. So you've got these areas up here that are just catching the light. Again, I'm using the tip of the brush, tip of the flat brush, and I'm just twisting it as I go in my fingers like this, just to get these kind of not quite square, but slightly geometric feeling areas that, you know, like I say, it looks like a crazy paving to me. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. I don't want straight lines. I just want it to look broken up. You'll have noticed I've started working left to right now. Come across. Ooh, I like that. God, that looks good on camera. It looks better on camera than it does in real life, actually, but a couple of areas that are a little bit too bright. If you end up with too much paint in a specific area, I highly recommend grab your finger and just smush it out. It works. A few bits up here that are a little bit lighter. Okay. Yeah. We're good. And now I'm just going to put in a little glaze, just a tiny little bit. Don't want to go crazy with it because this is a very, very bright color. But I just want to put in a couple of little areas where, you know, is it leaves? Is it lichen? Is it moss? Who knows? But it's just, it's wet at the moment. You can't see it, but it's just adding a little bit of extra color on that side. Okie dokie. This area needs to go darker still, which is kind of annoying. I'm going to grab some of this, a bit of this, a bit of that. Make a kind of nondescript sort of muddy green that I can put in here as a kind of a transition color almost. Yeah, this needs to go a lot darker in this corner. So how can I do that? I might have to use this dark purple again. area here that is very, very dark. So let's put that in there. Okay. And while that's still wet, a bit of that dark green that we mixed. Oh, there we go. That's what I want. Not quite enough contrast, but I'm hesitant to use black because black tends to flatten things out. However, I think in this instance, black might be just the ticket we need. So let's just have a tiny bit of black. But rather than putting it down straight, I'm going to mix it into this color. So it won't be jet black, it'll just be dark. No, a bit more. A bit of water. I'm trying to work quickly before this dries. And it's hard to see because of the glare, which is why I keep bobbing and weaving my head about. Thin that out. There we go. That's much more like the kind of depth of contrast I was trying to get. But even though I've put all these layers down, you can still see the blue peeking through. You can still see the purple and the green and where they all blend together. Well, maybe you can't on camera, but especially when it's wet, but I can see it, okay? It's like this. You can still see all the blues and greens underneath, even though it's opaque paint. You can still add lots to it. Murder trial is over and you can't stop watching it on YouTube. You need an intervention. Emily's covering the Gwyneth Paltrow ski trial. Those lawyers, man. Those lawyers. Oh my God. Oh my God. I actually put a thing on Instagram earlier that you know, explaining that from the opening arguments, here's the story of what's supposed to be going on. And I used the sound from that, you know, that kid that's like, have you ever had a dream that like you and when and then like and it was and then like because that's the story according to the opening arguments. They're terrible, absolutely terrible. And then today we've got Mr. Cough. One of the lawyers is sat right next to a microphone and he keeps going long story short, Sanderson v Paltrow, it's a ski crash collision thing. Who ran into whom? and therefore whom's going to pay damages. It's hilarious. Gwyneth is sat there with resting bitch face. Her lawyer is a pompous twit. The guy who's sitting opposite keeps leaving the courtroom because his lawyers keep telling him to leave the courtroom. And his lawyers are just really annoying and have coughs into the microphone. And the judge, oh my God, this judge, I'm telling you, he listens very carefully and then very quietly he says, I believe I have already answered that motion and made a judgment of it. He's one of those people, he's like my dad, he talks very quietly, so everybody has to shut up and listen to him. And I'm fairly convinced he used to be a primary school teacher because it's like herding cats in that courtroom. Oh, it's very funny. I mean, it's not funny for the guy who was injured, whether it was his fault or her fault or whatever. He's got some severe injuries, and that's not funny, of course. I think it's maybe not as cut and dried as either side is claiming. You know, one is claiming I was behind and the other is claiming I was behind. I think it's more a case of they were both coming together and they hit like that, you know, corner ways. So they can't really say side to side kind of thing. But either way, the guy got injured. So that's not good. But the trial itself is hilarious. It's the opening arguments. Try and follow the story. You've heard me try to tell a story from beginning to end, right? And I go off on this tangent and off on that tangent and off on that and it becomes a whole tree. But eventually, the whole tree becomes one solid thing where the trunk goes from here's where I started and here's where I came back to and here's another bit and here's another bit. And then now you know the whole story, right? These lawyers, it's more like sending rockets off in different directions. And they'll start a bit of a story and they'll be like, now, when this happened and then this, but I'll come back to that in a second. Because what I want to talk about is like, what are you talking about? I can't follow. And then one of the lawyers he was trying to tell the story of a conversation. And he was moments away. He was moments away from literally standing there going, this is what this person said, and this is what I'm saying to you. Really? Is that how it goes? Yes, that's what I said. This is what I meant. Oh, and what about this? I'm like, do you want some hand puppets? Would that be easier? It's hilarious. I'm going straight back. As soon as I'm done with this stream, I am going straight back to Emily D. Baker's channel to watch the rest of this morning's thing because it's hilarious. And because they're taking so long, she's playing them at like 1.5 speed. So it's even funnier. The jury must be just like sitting there going, brains dribbling out their ears, losing IQ points, I'm telling you. The circumstances are not funny, but the trial and the lawyers definitely are. Right, I like this dark colour. I'm going to use this dark colour again. Oop. Nearly couldn't use that dark colour again. Was almost not fast enough to get it wet again. There we go. A little bit more black in there. I'm going to use this in here as well, because I think that will look good against... There is a little bit in here. I'm going to have to figure out another colour for it. I think probably this kind of greeny colour I used here. But there is an area back here that you can see that comes down from this crack. And that is this line here. That is what's going to contrast against that beautiful bright light in this corner. I'm taking advantage of all the brush strokes I can get in this paint, because if you don't work fast enough with it, you can get a lot of streaks and patches, and I'm taking advantage of that to use it as the texture of the tree. So now I'm going to grab some of this. Oh, not quite. No, just about made it. I need to get used to spraying this. Take a little bit of that. There we go. Exactly what I wanted. Yes. Perfect. Exactly what I was imagining I was going to achieve. These paints get easier to work with as you go, which is another reason why I like working in layers, because if you work in layers, you kind of get this, you get a feel for it. It's like you do a warm up in your first couple of layers, and then you start doing the proper bits over the top. Oh, I like that. I like that colour a lot. I'm going to use that over here to blend this shadow in here. Again, I'm using the edge of my brush and turning it occasionally as I go. Let's put a couple of patches in here. And then blend the two together. Make it sparser as we go up. And then as your brush dries and you run out of paint, you can come in and do the bits at the bottom where you want it to blend the edges away. See? It's almost like I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's almost like I do. I didn't miss a bit there. That's wet. It looks like I missed a bit on the camera. I haven't. Okay. Doing okay. We're doing okay. Don't know if I'm going to get this finished today. I normally only stream till 7. I may stream a little bit longer. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to get my water spray out. Remember to actually use it. You don't need to saturate it. It's just to keep it viable on the palette. But it's a lot easier than keep trying to add water with a brush. Okay. I'm going to come back into this bit when it's dry and add some lighter areas, because there are some areas where this is catching the light a little bit. It's like reflected light. It's not full on light like this bit. But I also need to put some texture on here. So I'm going to use this darker green. What's left of it. With maybe a touch of yellow. Just to give us a bit of variation. It's not actually a yellowy green, but it gives us some variation in there. I'm going to put some Maddie, what are we barking at, Madge? Maddie. There must be somebody doing something out the back of over the wall in the road or something, because she doesn't normally bark at people. Nope. There we go. Hi, Miss Maddie. What are you crying for? Okay. We got a tree root. I'm a very slow painter. I really am very, Very slow painter. But I feel like we've got a good, like 1/3 of it done. I mean, I've got some more to do here, but this bit, I'm really happy with this bit. This bit is, it's not exactly like the reference, but that's not what I'm going for. I'm going for sisters, not twins, right? So I feel like we're getting there. I've definitely got the composition nailed. I'm happy with that. I feel like I've got the night light in the right place. Hi, Miss Maddie. Hi. I know, it's coming up to your tea time, isn't it? I know. I'm going to have to feed the Maddie. I know. I know. What I'm hoping with the open studios is that it will be more of this kind of thing, but I won't be stopping and explaining what I'm doing during it, and I won't be following chat. I won't be trying to chat with people. I mean, I'll be running the class, I'll be running the session, but I won't be constantly stopping and explaining what I'm doing and this, that, and the other. So I'm hoping that essentially the open studio sessions will be like this, but faster. Because it'll be less of me explaining, but also there'll be other people in the group that you'll be able to watch what they're doing. Some people will be sharing what they do, some people won't. So other people will be on camera. Other people will be talking if they want to, you know, because we can all turn our sound off when we want to and have our headphones on. You know, I don't have to do anything during the session other than run it. So it's not going to be, it's going to be like a work along with occasional chat, as opposed to a live stream, which is mostly chat with occasional work. But I'm very happy with this. We're starting to get from cave to tree. And I think I might continue working on this tonight. Yeah, I think I might continue working on this. I'm almost tempted to keep streaming, but if I keep streaming, I'll get like this much done in 2 hours. Whereas if I don't keep streaming, I've got a really good chance of finishing all of this in 2 hours. It's a pain, I know, because it's nice to watch people painting. But it's just going to be more of the same on the other side. So because all of this part of the tree needs to be done. So all of this section needs to be done, just like I've done this, but I'm going to shade 2 shades lighter, plus a few highlights that are almost white. They're not actually white. They're light grey, but they look white on the camera. So yeah, I think I'm going to stop the stream, go and see to Her Majesty. She needs her tea and her evening jaunt. And I think I'll carry on with this while I listen to Emily talking about the Paltrow trial, which is just, I mean, I'm tempted to call it car crash TV, but it's more like ski crash TV. You know. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. Like I said, I won't be live streaming next week, but there will be a recorded live video of the new Oracle deck that Kirsten has coming out. I am on admin week next week, so it's not holiday, but I do get to sit down and do fun things like my quarterly taxes and moving gigabytes and gigabytes and gigabytes of video. Yes, it's all riveting fun. So that's what I'll be doing next week, but I will be back the week after, which is the 3rd. We're doing the open studio, the first open studio session. Don't forget to join the channel. not sure where the join button is. I'm assuming down there somewhere. If you want to play along with that, that's April 3rd. We reconvene the When Frogs Sing Patreon classes. Those start on April 4th, and my next stream on here live like this will be April 5th. So there you go. Thanks for joining me, guys. And don't forget, if you've been playing along or you've been doing something while you've been watching, by all means, tag me. I'd love to see what you're doing if you post it to Instagram at Romany. And I will come and check out what you've been up to. For those of you in Patreon is because it's admin week next week. You guys get a reading week. We work on 3 months at a time. So you get a week where there's no new material goes up. You get a chance to go back and watch or rewatch things from the last 3 months that you may or may not have missed or may have wanted to catch up on or do more in depth or whatever. So have fun with that. And I will see you. When am I going to see you again? 2 weeks. I literally just said it and I can't remember. I'm tired. I need food. I need air. Thanks for joining me, guys. See you soon. I can't remember how to